I don't know how they do these cam things where they don't. There you go. Everybody. How you doing, Hannah? Who's that little squirt next to you?
Jazz. What are they? They like fish.
She was going.
What did I say? What did I say? Mom, it's your birthday. I or you?
That's right.
Grandma's. See, he didn't want to bring it.
Huh?
But Grandma asked him please would he wear his dress uniform.
That's nice.
Really?
That's really nice. That looks great.
And he doesn't have the belt, but you know nobody knows but him.
What's that? What belt? All the families here. Hi. Hello, everybody. Everybody at the table.
Just a bunch of clothes.
Just close down. Has the 5 Olympic rings on it, since the Olympics will be here in Atlanta next year.
A fitting top. That's
We have the address for Tampa General Hospital, where Dan Nelson is, and we'll be there for the next couple of weeks.
Sit down, boy.
I go out this way.
You gonna take a little weepy while you're there? I don't know, Mark. You gonna take a little weep while you're there?
I got everybody.
I'm gonna go up and get the film and.
What's the matter with your film? Oh, okay, you're out of film. All right. I got enough picture of you, Mark. Get out of the way.
Am I allowed to leave?
No.
We're not good drivers. We don't travel well by car, but yeah, but if it can happen, I've got your address, so and I'm sure Mom gives your phone number, so yeah, I would love that. That would be so good. My baby. I love my baby. Yeah.
This is what Daniel Webster said. He wrote our dictionary. He said, those who do not look upon themselves as a link connecting the past with the future do not perform their duty to the world. So we're doing our duty tonight. Anyway, I wanted to start with, well, when I was a kid, I often wondered where the Wellivers came from. And when I asked Daddy, he said, well, I think they're Welsh. And I think the reason he felt they were Welsh was because there was a double L in the Welliver spelling. And so I said, well, what does that mean? And he said, well, it meant that they were well livers. They lived well. Well, all this time I thought they were Welsh. And so then Mark and I made a quick trip up to Sunbury, Pennsylvania. Dad said most of the Wellivers came from Sunbury, Pennsylvania. And we finally found this teacher, a 5th grade teacher, who said, come on out to my house after lunch. And she said, I have all the genealogy of the Wellivers. So I really didn't do so much work. And when she met us, she took us into the kitchen, and she opened this huge black book, and there it all was. Well, it turns out that they started in Holland. From the great Roman historian Tacitus, we learned something of the tribes who over 20 centuries ago in the year 0 wandered among the forests along the Rhine River. Any of you in this room that aren't Wellivers, if you have Dutch and German blood from the other side, will be interested to hear this. They were turbulent and adventurous nomads, descendants of the Alemanni tribes who came out of Asia across Armenia and the Black Sea through Russia 400 AD to intermingle with the Swabians and become known as the Spearmen or Germans. Anyway, these tribes submitted early to the Christian religion, and although it was mainly a religion of fear, they were distinguished for their reverence of family relations, respect for women, and their love of personal liberty and independence. They were a decidedly courageous people, possessed of keen wit, great industry, and strength of character. Now, and armies from Rome preyed on them without success, with the result that the country was divided into numerous provinces, each having its own ruler. Before these people, well, no, it wasn't before they came there, but the Romans were there very early. And this area of German, first they were in Holland, and then they floated up the Rhine River to the part that's called the Palatinate part of Germany, which is in southwest Germany. And the reason it was called the Palatine part is because Caesar's home and nice food, good life. And that's what Woolliman transferred, it translates into good life. Well, anyway, you wouldn't leave that place. But what happened was, in the early 1600s, the 30 Years' War started. And it was between the French Catholics and the German Protestants. And they were Lutheran. So that's how they started first. And it was terrible, 30 Years' War that, let's see, it was the French king, Louis XIV. And he sent army after army over there. Now this was 30 years of this war. And they were just devastated. Their farms were burned by the French. They had a terrible time. And what saved them was that Queen Anne was on the throne in England from 1702 to 1711. And she had lost her German prince husband. And she was very sympathetic to the Palatinate Germans. So she said to them, if you will come to Rotterdam, I will get ships to bring you to London. Well, 32,000 Palatinate Germans left and went to England. There were several waves of them. Our people were on the third wave.
Do you remember, Barbara, when I did that? Do you remember her scolding me about that? Well, I don't know who was home by then, but you were, I know, and Marcia.
I'm gonna get this one filmed.
But anyway, I said to him, well, you never drink anything, and he said, honey, I tried them all. And he said, I got sick on everything. Well, I tell you, I can't hold anything either. I get sick too. In fact, Mark said, I christened every new car he had for a good many years. And it didn't take very much. Yeah, he did. And, well, I wanted to tell you, too, that the bar side was a little more sophisticated than the Welliver side. The Wellivers were farmers way up until Dad's father, Alfred, came into town from the farm in, like, I figure 1875 or so. And the bars were into manufacturing and owned the Erie Iron Works by the 1850s. And Erie was a big city compared to Hamilton, Ohio. And I always felt that Mother, she knew how to entertain, she was gracious, she was lovely, and I felt like Dad didn't come from that background. And generous. Yes, I read Huldah Ann Welliver, one of our ancestors.
Interested in mining gold from a fellow in Oxford named Howard Coulter. And he came out here and found there was a placer mine there. And between Dad and his associates, they raised about $65,000. 15,000 of which was Dad's. He told me to quit college in the middle of my sophomore year and go out there and work there. There I am. And we built this camel dredge, as it was called. It was built in Boulder, Colorado, and trucked down to New Mexico and assembled. I helped do that. And then it was set up and run. Can we go on to some of the other pictures? What do we got here? Set up a thing called Placer Syndicate Mining Company. And he issued stock for it. There's the preferred stock. You can stick on common stock there next. And they sold the stock and went to work trying to mine gold. Well, that's a desert country down there. Very desert. And here's some pictures of that. There. I think it has about 2.5 inches of rainfall a year. But it needed a lot more water to run this machine than they could ever find. We dug 200-foot deep wells by hand, put pump jacks in to pump the water, piped water from a mine a couple of miles away that was being pumped out, and finally ended up, let's see if I can find the picture here, and I'll try this one. There, we built that reservoir in the lower left-hand corner. It was 150 feet long and 100 feet wide and 10 feet deep. And the idea was to reuse the water and save it and use it over again. Oops. Let's stop here. That's all right. Separate the sand from the water and use the water over again. Well, the stuff that it separated out was the best valve grinding compound I ever saw in my life. And it was that abrasive too. Well, then they tried 2 or 3 or 4 other times in different methods of saving water. None of them worked. So they finally ended up with a full reservoir of water and decided to use it all and use it up because they were running out of money. Well, this machine took 600 gallons of water a minute. So it ran for less than a month. Gold at that time was worth $20.67 an ounce. Now, of course, this stuff that they mined out wasn't pure, so it was probably worth $18 or $19 an ounce. I saw a quart milk bottle one time full of placer gold that we mined here. I have no idea what it was worth because I don't know how many ounces there were. But as I said, he was a gambler. He dropped $15,000 there in 1932. I don't know what that would be worth today, but it was worth plenty. And he was trying to make a big kill.
And 10 years old, and this man now is like 81 or 2 years old. But he said, when I used to sit at my grandfather's knee, at Colonel Hilton's knee, he would tell me stories about the Civil War. And of course, when he was in the Battle of Gettysburg, he was wounded. And he was almost left for dead because, well, he didn't look like he was alive. And then he found later that these 2 fellows brought him in because he was a colonel. And so anyway, at the Battle of Gettysburg, he lost his leg. And later, after that, he was sent to a hospital in Washington, D.C. And we're pretty sure that it was at the Willard Hotel because during the Civil War, they made that into a hospital. And he said, my grandfather said that President Lincoln would walk down to this hospital every day and talk to the wounded. And he talked to the colonel almost every day that he came. And he said nobody could say a bad word in front of my grandfather about President Lincoln because he said he was such a fine man. He said he talked to him many times and he was a prince of a man. And so Hannah, when you read in your history book that President Lincoln was a wonderful man, he really was, because you know somebody who knew somebody that talked to President Lincoln.
Who was Judson?
Judson moved out to Missouri, and Judson is a judge out there in the Missouri Supreme Court. And we hook up with him, but I don't know how.
There was Judson Welliver, who was the press relations officer for one of the presidents of Washington.
I've heard that, but
I read that somewhere.
But I don't know, and I tell you somebody else that's a Welliver that's prominent is Neil Welliver, and he's an artist in New York City. And I read an article in my Art and Antiques. They have a lot of articles about artists, and I read about him there. And then one time when Mark and I were coming into Chicago on the plane, I looked up and I said, "Oh, Mark, there's Welliver. He just signs at Welliver." And then we went to New York City, and I saw that he had a big show, and we went there to meet him, and they said, well, he had gone to England because he was having a big show over there, so he's in the Bucks, and he lives in Maine. He likes to paint landscape. And in this article, they said that he came from Williamsport, around Williamsport, Pennsylvania, and that's near Sunbury, and so he's one of the Wellivers, from the original Welliver that came to Pennsylvania, sure. One other thing I wanted to tell you young people, you girls can be a daughter of the American Revolution, and you boys can be a son of the American Revolution, because I belong to the DARs in Baltimore. I enjoyed it because I learned a lot about the history around Baltimore. And my patriot, and your patriot too, would be John Kelly, who fought with General Washington at Ticonderoga and spent that terrible winter at Valley Forge. He was 17 years old, and he was noted for his intrepid bravery. And you can do that. And both of those families were quite patriotic, I think, because they came here with nothing. Mother's people came from Northern Ireland, from Antrim County, and I told Mark when we got that lot on Antrim Court, I guess we were meant to get it. And
I think this has been great because so many of us weren't around, or I was, because I'm the oldest grandchild who's here right now. Bob's son Jack is the oldest grandchild of Mark and Mabel. And I have recollections of their living on Sherman Avenue and then again in Marcia. But a lot of you didn't know Grandma and Grandpa, and I think this has given you a real opportunity to hear things about them and learn about some of our family history. And Patty really is the historian of this family. She's kept it all up, and hopefully she's hoping some one of us will, try to keep that up, because it's something that we don't want to lose. She's done a lot of work, and some of the things that she's told us tonight, I have made some copies of things that she has written up. She has, I think she referred to it, some recollections that Grandpa Mark Welliver told Grandma Mabel when he was 75 years old back in 1958, I think it was. And it's 8 pages typewritten. And Patty and Mark put it together and have written it down. And I've made some copies, and I wasn't able to make copies for everybody, but I've got enough so that there's going to be at least one representative from each of the family groups who could possibly then make other copies and pass them on to their brothers and sisters, so that a lot of this doesn't get lost. We also have, I have some copies of the family trees of the Barr family and also the Welliver family. And it just takes it down to our parents. So we're going to try to pass, move it on down from myself and our, my cousins and then our children, so that we can continue the family tree on down.
We've got a couple of reminders. Want to remind you about the buffet in the morning at 10. Want you to remember to write Danny Nelson lots of cards over the next month, because he's going to be in there for quite a while, having lots of surgeries. Sure, hold on a second.
Yeah, I talked with Danny this morning around 10 o'clock, and his right foot has been removed about halfway up to the knee, and he's going to require some skin grafts also on his right elbow and right side, and apparently as he was fooling with this satellite transmission truck, it has an antenna on the truck, sort of like a periscope on a submarine, and it lays down flat on the top of the truck and then goes up and telescopes about 40 feet. And the thing's aluminum, and when they were setting up this early morning shot about 5:30 on Wednesday morning, it was raining, and they were doing a story, as I understand it, on all the rain they've had down there. And they were driving along this little road about halfway between Fort Myers and Tampa, and he's worked for the radio station, or the TV station in Fort Myers. So they were heading north, and the road was flooded. And the reporter female with him said, "Hey, let's stop and get a few shots of this. It's perfect." So he pulled off the side of the road and didn't see the power lines because of the rain and the darkness. And so he was standing at the side of the truck working the controls, and he had his left foot on the truck and working with his left hand and his right foot on the ground when the thing telescoped up and got that 7,000 volt power line. So he came in apparently through his left thumb and out his right foot. And the resistance that the energy reaches the ground, it has to build up quite a bit more before it finally shoots in, and that's when it fried his foot. So the female reporter, she has a few skin grafts, but she'll be out of the hospital a lot longer. I mean, a lot sooner. Danny will be there a lot longer, and it's going to be at least 3-4 weeks. So we've got his address up here and some sticky notes. If you could come up and copy it. And since he is in Tampa, and he doesn't know anybody in Tampa, all of his friends are down in Fort Myers. And tomorrow there's a big, as I understand it, a big group coming up from the radio to the TV station to see both this female reporter and Danny. And if you could just, jot down the address and send him a card, and say who you are in relation to one of these siblings, in other words, Patty or Barbara or Dorothy or Virginia or Bob or Buzz, and he'd really appreciate it. If we're gonna send some flowers, I think possibly, I don't know, we haven't talked about that. The flowers can go at the nurse's station, and he'll see them as they exercise, and they'll go around to the various stairs. Out in the intensive care burn unit where he is at the moment, no live plants of any kind because of the risk of infection. So get well balloons, teddy bears, anything that's phony flowers if you want to do that. But because it might look nice. But the folks from the radio from the TV station have sent a few get well balloons and things. But as time passes, why he's going to be sitting there. I'm going to try to get down and see him a couple times. But anything to brighten up the room would be appreciated. His spirits are up. When I talked with him this morning, if I just had my foot cut off, I don't believe I'd be as up as he was. Apparently the doctors have all talked to him and convinced him he's likely to be alive. So having been shot at a couple times myself, I don't think I came quite as close to dying as he did. But it does give you a different perspective on things, I will say. And he said, hey, if I had to lose something, I'm glad it was a foot and not a hand or in my life. So if he can keep that attitude through all the painful skin grafts and recovery, why, that'll be pretty good.
How old is Dan?
He's about 25.
I wanted to tell everybody that I chose one of the shots of all of us, and I ordered a picture, and I'm sending it to Danny, and I'm also sending one to Ann and Bernie. So they'll at least see what we look like. I don't know that they'll be able to figure out who all is who. And also, Doug, you might go visit him. It's not very far. Yeah, so head on over there one day. The next thing I wanted to show you was our special surprise tonight. And we have my husband Jim to thank for this. Jim works for Libby, and he was able to get us some beer mugs. And some guy that he knows decorated them with our researched Welliver family tree. And the crest. Sorry about that. We've been talking about trees so much, I guess I got trees on the brain. But we ended up with 2 different mugs. This one is a liter size, and it's in full color. And this one, for the simpler folks, is it's the outline just in platinum. And I want everybody that's here to take one of each home with you. And I'm not paying the extra weight in your air freezer. You'll be overweight on the plane, but try and wrap it up so they don't break. Nancy, Jenny, and Rick already took one of each for themselves. So I knew you didn't want to carry 6 home yourself. But as you leave tonight, make sure you get one of each size. And Jim, thanks so much.
I did have one other thought as she was mentioning these trees. Some of us who now reside south of the Mason-Dixon line are sometimes accused of being rednecks. So, yeah, and they're always, and that's of course from those who live above the Mason-Dixon line. And the ones that have been here longer than we have, well, of course, we're carpetbagging Yankees, and we just assume, or they just assume we leave, but I think I'm one of these carpetbagging Yankees who's packed his carpetbag to stay. I like the climate. You know, the rain is nice, and winter only comes once or twice. It snows, and then it's gone. So, and the falls are gorgeous, and spring comes early. March, it's 50 degrees. Hey, winter's over. So all you folks above the Mason-Dixon line, keep shoveling that snow, scraping the ice. And
We love it.
with all this talk of trees, there's a comedian that's named Jeff Foxworthy. And he's got several definitions to decide whether you might be a redneck or not. So all you folks in here, this stuff about trees, this applies. Jeff Foxworthy, the recognized authority, if your family tree does not fork, you might be a redneck. So nobody in here can be accused of being a redneck.
We just wanted to thank everyone who made the effort, and I know for a lot of you it was a special effort to be here to celebrate the Welliver family. We did some organizations or some conventions or gatherings get good wishes from presidents and statesmen, but we have some special wishes that were sent, and I don't know if when you were looking through the scrapbook, many of you noticed this picture from the crew of the next shuttle that will be going off on August the 5th. Pat, what's the name of the shuttle? Endeavor. The Endeavor. An autographed picture from the 5 crew members of the Endeavor, which I said is going off August the 5th. Wishing you and the rest of the Welliver family a great reunion. The STS-69 crew.
Yay! Thank you.
We told the names last night of everybody who did special things for all the different committees, and without going through everybody's name again, Marcia and I both, and Nancy and Stuart, want to say thank you very much for the effort and the work that you all did, because even though Marcia and I thought it up and organized it without the help that all of you put into it, it couldn't have been the weekend that it was. We would like, if anyone would like to volunteer to be the next coordinator for another reunion, let us know. We've got lots of information. We're not promising you we're going to do this in a year or 2 years or 5 years, but sometime down the line we'd like to all get together again. So we've got that information, and we'll be glad to pass it on to whoever might like to plan the next one.
And Buzz came up with the idea that he said he thought a great central location for the next one was somewhere around southwestern Ohio.
Bunker Hill.
Manchester, you know what they do, they get on a bus and you go on a sightseeing tour, all the homes, the farmstead, and the cemetery.
Yeah, and for any of you younger folks who are still awake, when they mention this town of this township of Riley, actually there's actually a town of Riley, isn't there?
What's a town?
Oh yeah.
There's a little town there, it's a little village.
It's a little village, and all this is very close to Hamilton, Ohio, which is where all these particular Wellivers.
Finally.
Well, it's just 5 miles outside of Oxford and Miami University.
Right. And I even wandered up there one day myself when I was at the university and found some of the stuff that you guys talk about. And, it really wasn't interesting then, but the older you get, the more interesting it becomes.
The young people from
Yeah. All this stuff originated in, at least as far as this background, with the immediate folks here. It's all southwestern Ohio, just a bit north and west of Cincinnati, there at Hamilton, and south and west of Dayton. If you ever want to look on a map.
If there's anyone else who'd like to make an announcement or have anything to say, otherwise, have a pleasant evening and we'll see.
Thank you, girls, you did a great job.
Don't forget breakfast tomorrow for those of you who are going to be here. If you can't make breakfast, then we wish you Godspeed on your way home and everybody have a safe trip tomorrow. And we'll see you again soon. Yeah, we're not pushing you out. We can all sit around and catch up again still.
But one more time. A round of applause for these two lovely young ladies who did all this work.
Gee, it must have been the die-hard Wellivers that stayed this long.
Bob, it occurred to me the place to do it is Houston's Woods State Park.
Yeah.
They got a big lodge there.
Right.
They got
Yeah.
recreation.
Right. I think that's a good idea.
Golf course.
Oh, sure,
Yes.
Yeah,
Don't they
there's
have
lodging.
facilities
Yeah.
there?
I don't know.
Lodging? Yes,
I don't know
they
what's
do.
what
I've stayed
they have lodging. They don't have much lodging.
I think so. I attended some.
Wait a minute, I have something to tell you. In September, this Tom Stanner that wrote this little history of Riley and Bunker Hill is putting out a new history book. It will cost $15 in September, and he said he'd let me know. If any of you think you want it, just let me know, because I'll get a copy for you.
Nancy, thank you again for your very welcome.
I learned to love it. You had it inherited the genes.
Oh, Nancy?
Yeah. I'm not sure that I have that. I've never seen it.
Also, I want to thank everybody for putting up with all the flashes from all of us.
Yeah.
I know.
But are you sure that Sarah has it? She didn't tell me.
Hey, Scott.
I'm retiring as a minister tonight.
Does Sarah have one?
Say that again.
Retiring from the pulpit tonight.
Oh, okay.
Next year I'll do this again.
Yeah, I have one.
See you in the morning? Find his way back. We're gonna fall. Oh, hello. Everybody leaving now? Can you tell us more?
This is the goodbye part of the video.
Yeah.
Everybody's saying goodbye.
Can I get a picture?
Man, you must have been in here a lot of one
Hi, Barbie. You have any closing remarks?
No. Are you filming?
Yeah, I'm trying to use up the thing. Do you have any closing remarks?
Enjoyed the reunion.
See you in 10 more years.
Good seeing everybody. I remembered almost everybody.
10 years, I'll be too old. I'll be able to come back here.
Too old for a Welliver reunion. I don't make
Design your own, huh?
Hi, Hannah. Do you have any closing remarks? Any closing remarks?
Where's Barbie now?
Upstairs. I don't
Sleeping?
think so. Except that these cups are real nice.
Would you like to say get well to our friend?
Get well.
Hey, you did that.
You took. Where's Sam now?
He's upstairs.
Hey, Matt, what do you think of this crazy bunch here?
I was listening to the history, man. It seems
You
pretty
guys good?
Yeah, well, my people are from Ohio, too.
Really? What
Yeah,
part?
I was born in Columbus, Ohio.
Oh, really?
My father's side is in Columbus, my
Really?
mother's side from Cincinnati.
Is that right?
So, yeah, we're from Ohio. It's interesting history.
We'll have to invite you back for the next one. There might be some updates.
Probably be some new things going on.
Yeah,
It's interesting. I like history.
yeah. You guys did a super job.
Thanks.
And were you here last night?
No?
I don't think so.
No. You guys had Mike Dunning's short.
Yeah, everybody did a great job.
Thanks.
I'm glad you could attend.
Yeah.
Where have you been?
Huh?
Tell the camera where have you been?
Oh.
We've missed you. Yes.
That little duck.
This guy left and I had to do all this video.
There you go. Good. Well, I'm sure you.
Mark,
I know.
send me a copy of this video, and we're going to try. Oh, that's what we forgot to tell. Even though our videographer is not here, Gene's got a friend that possibly can edit some of our stuff, and the people that ordered video, we're going to try and get them a video. Either that or a refund.
Even if it's 6 hours, I mean, geez, put it all together. Why edit it out? Huh? Why edit it out?
I'm glad you got to come.
Now I know why we're Wellivers.
Do you have any closing remarks for the camera here?
It's been a very memorable occasion.
And the next time that we have the next reunion, you'll probably marry and have 10 kids, right?
I hope so. I hope so. I don't know about 10 kids though.
No.
Possibly two or three.
Hey, Maureen, do you have any closing comments?
I show up and I got these goddamn miniature ribbons.
Semper Fi.
Three banks of them, and I outdid them all. I went them up in Great Lakes to speak to a graduating class.
Well, do you have any closing remarks for the camera?
Bye.
Oh.
This is my dad.
The last minute video. Do you have any closing remarks?
No. Is your suitcase going to be heavier? No. You're going to have to pay extra for this. I don't know what, but I can even get them in my suitcase. Oh, wrap your dirty clothes around my stuff's full. You'll find a way. Believe me, you'll find a way. Can you get up already about 8:30 or so?
Be good.
Good.
Are you leaving in the morning?
Well, yeah, I think around 10 o'clock. We're going to be staying here another night.
Yeah, so we'll see you in the morning. Breakfast.
So are you leaving tomorrow morning?
In the afternoon.
Do you have any closing remarks for the camera here?
No closing remarks for the camera.
Wear down your battery.
You'll be able to wear it down completely in the morning.
Right. Leave it on all night.
Are you you're leaving early with your
We're going to go and visit some other relatives, and then we're going to come back.
Oh, you can come back here?
We're going to come back. We're going to stay another night. It's about a 9-hour drive back to Ohio, so.
Well, it's good meeting you.
It was nice meeting you.
Yeah, good to see you. Sorry we're going to miss you in the morning.
Well, there's always another reunion.
Yes, that's right. You could always volunteer to organize.
Yeah. I was trying to get Mark Fraser riled up.
Yeah, there you go. You ready to go up, man?
Yep.
I'm tired. Good night, Mark.
Good night.
Wait a minute, Barbara.
Yeah.
I hope so, yeah.
Do you have any closing remarks?
Huh?
Do you have any closing remarks for the camera?
No, I have nothing to say.
No. Are you going to put some beer in those tonight?
No, not tonight.
Not tonight? Okay. What?
Let's see.
Do you have any closing remarks?
No.
No?
But it was a lot better than it.
Did you hear that?
It turned out really well.
Yeah.
I think.
The only thing is we didn't have any strippers.
No, not in this group.
Yeah.
Yes, I know that.
Nice meeting you. Good luck in your new position. Will you do well? Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you.
Uh-oh, we're still filming.
Is he still filming here?
Cover up that
Trying to
red
wear
dot
out
so you
the
know.
battery. Where's the red dot?
2.5-hour battery.
Are they going to put together some sort of tape?
I think they
I
are.
think so,
I think they're
yeah.
going to try to take photography.
Tidbits of different things.
We're going to put some strip tees in the middle of it.
Just to wake you up.
Right, keep you awake.
Wow, what was that?
They won't be Welliver strip tees. They'll be other ones.
The other convention, right? The Alfa Romeo convention.
Yeah, there you
Right.
Italian stallion grab.
Hey, she wants to go?
What's the Italian stallion? Is that for
I don't know if they're still
horses? That's Ferrari. Ferrari.
Are you a Welliver?
No, I'm
No.
Brenda Daniels.
You're- okay.
What is Porsche? Porsches are Crest. Crest. Well, I know the Ralph Romeo has the fire-breathing Red Dragon. For half of it.
I guess there's a lot of people that feel the Alfa Romeo club. There's been a lot of people that this hotel.
They're crazy bunch.
They're the next hallway over there.
Right.
That's we've been hearing cheering.
Yeah, they're having their awards and stuff like that.
Hey, maybe we ought to go next door. See what they're up to.
Well, the BMW Club does the same thing.
Oh, really? Get together.
Oh, yeah. It's a big convention. They have like you see the exhibitors hall down there with all kinds of things. And that was pretty small. The one for BMW was big. They got Bosch comes there, all those tires. That's a big daddy. Yeah.
Do you have any closing comments for the camera?
I don't like to be on candid camera. I think it's been a great time, and I'm thrilled to have been a part of this Welliver family reunion. I mean,
We're going to have another one. We're going to try to get some people together to plan another one.
and I know my husband's really enjoyed it, you know, because he's been able to catch
I
up.
should talk to him.
Things that he has seen when he was yay high, and now we're all grown up, you know.
Maybe I can get you to persuade him to maybe plan another one next week.
No.
Not next week.
Not next week. Well, we'll work it out. Maybe we can work something out with some other people.
Yeah.
We'll see.
He's a smart guy. Wish I had 1/4 of his brains.
Well, if I can just get it channeled just right.
Right.
I'm supposed to be that force behind it.
Right.
Because he does have so many talents. He really amazes me all the time.
The only thing is, you got to get rid of that string hanging around his neck that he thinks is a tie. That
No,
string.
that's our bolo tie. That's our Western thing.
Oh, that is a Western tie, isn't
Yeah,
it?
that's the Western version of the tie. He brought the other kind too. It was his choice, although I kind of was the one instigated the bolo tie.
Oh, you did?
I thought, well, why don't we just show our Western roots by
Right.
wearing the bolo tie? I thought it'd be more comfortable.
They're taking down the sign.
I wasn't sure a tie was necessary. I didn't know.
Right. Well, thanks for your input. Sure. I'm going to go this way.
Company had their flag. I was a collected from them.
Okay.
And I tell you, every person I see in the collection North Drive, I mean, it seems like a bad hospital. Everybody, they don't have no coverage at all. We used to collect them.
Well, there's a lot of low-income around there, and a lot of low-income blacks, and
I'm sorry.
they're really like tenements, and they're now governed by gangs, and you can't safely go there. I mean,
How about Fidel Clinic? That's in Chicago too. That's a real I did this for 4.5 years. I knew all about Chicago top views. I knew exactly.
All right, give me my camera, Joe. Just turn